Good evening, and welcome to TMI Live. Oh shoot, I didn't even plug in my mic, so hopefully you can hear me. You can tell I haven't done this in a while. Welcome to TMI Live 65, I think it is. Forward is forearmed, is what I'm calling it. That is the title of an introduction Eric McLuhan wrote to to a new edition of, I think it was Culture is Our Business, now I can't recall. And of course, my friend S. Alfonso Williams tunes in. That is just perfect. Hey pal. Yeah, it's been a while since I did this, but I thought, it's winding up the year, and if I'm going to get one done by the end of the year, I might as well do it and use this opportunity to check in a little bit. I have a bit of a hot chocolate situation happening here. Number 65, I was doing these really regularly. That was before I actually lived here. And when I was taking one night a week to come into the office and do things around, at that time I was focused mainly on the library of Eric McLuhan, of which you can see about a quarter behind me. I was coming out here Tuesday night specifically to work on the inventory of Dad's library, and being predictable and focused. I was doing things like a regular weekly live thing. However, in the meanwhile, my wife and I bought this property from my mom, Dad having passed a few years ago now. And so I live here, and I'm able to spend a lot more time, but a lot more spread out. So it's not the one several hour concentrated chunk of time. It's a little bit of time here and there. And my activities are a little scattered because of it. Anyway, I do try to get out here Tuesday night. I'm just generally doing other things. However, as I said, I thought I might use this opportunity to check in and talk a bit about what's been going on and the plans that I have. The main thing that's gone on, it's the end of the year, so it's a time to think about things like this, isn't it? The main thing that's happened is I've even put the files away, and my book and all. I managed to finish my in-depth study reading group, UMI Understanding Media Intensive. This book here, this was the copy I used. It was like a 15-month adventure. It ended up being, I think, 37 classes over 15 months, with a little break in between 3 parts, 12, 13 classes each, 3-hour classes, going through this book chapter by chapter, literally word by word in many cases. And it was an incredible thing, doing the book like that with students to be accountable to and have the excuse. I really went deep through the book, and I chased down every little reference, figured out or tried to figure out where it came from, the context behind it. If Marshall quoted a sentence, I tried to find the book, find where in the book, pick up the paragraph, see what else was happening around it. A lot of surprising things came up because of that. A lot of questions were answered. A lot of questions I didn't know I had were answered, which was interesting. Found out the answer to where a bunch of the little quotes in the Douline card deck came from. I'd always wondered about the Ace of Spades, where it says, "I drew the coffin," pardon me, and it turns out that's from T.S. Eliot. Thank you, S. Alfonso. You were with us for the whole way, and it was great to have you there. Thank you so much for your contributions. All the students, actually, it was incredible. And shout outs to Gray Area in San Francisco for championing the class in the first place and helping manage the technical details. So it went off virtually without a hitch. As it happened, the last class was a little bit of a runaround, but whatever, these things happen. All in all, it was a great experience, and I know I'm the better for it. I'm certainly the better for meeting all the incredible people who took part in it. Kind of cool how that happens. I did it from here in this my little corner of the office in rural southern Ontario, and connected with people around the world, people from England to Australia to Indonesia to South America, to all over the United States and Canada. It was just really, really cool. What a great experience. And something I didn't expect to do, but there you have it. And it kind of launched me on a bit of a, I don't know if I'll call it a career, but a trajectory anyway, because I'm definitely planning on doing more things. And I'm even kind of planning on running the whole Understanding Media Intensive thing through again. I had recorded the classes, but by the time we were a lot of the way through it, I realized that the live experience, the discussion, the interaction, the assignments I came up with, is really a lot more meaningful than a recording would be. So while it's nice to have a recording for posterity or whatever, as long as I'm able to, I might continue teaching the live class, because it made a real, I mean, it's nice and a feather in my cap, but people said it was literally life-changing, and I'd love to be able to provide that again, so I think we'll do that. Yeah, so the last year, plus, a little bit plus, we've been living here. I've been concerned with keeping this place up and running and going, and I'm at the point where I want to do a little more than that, so I'm making a concerted effort now to plan out. I'm coming up with I think a 2-year plan. Since I started the McLuhan Institute just about almost 4 years ago, I really have a sense of direction now, and what I want to do, what I need to do, what I would like to do, and how I might go about it. Somebody recently asked me what kind of funding I would need to do it for 2 years, and that got me to thinking what I could accomplish in 2 years. And I think in 2 years I could really get this off the ground, get the basic structure and organization happened. There's a lot of improvements I want to do to this building, which houses the archive and collection. As you may know, I want to build a little guest suite upstairs so people can come and visit, scholars. I have a spare desk, so people can use these resources which I have here. This was an incredible part of teaching the Understanding Media course here in Eric McLuhan's library, is I have almost all the referenced works, authors and things available here to go through that in Eric McLuhan's own annotated copies. So I want to make that, a lot of the reason for me to do the McLuhan Institute in the first place is to make things, McLuhan work, accessible, and accessible in a couple ways. Accessible in the basic terms of just making things available, so people can access materials which are largely behind closed doors, and ivory towers and all that, but also accessible in terms of comprehensible. And that was a real part of what happened with Understanding Media Intensive, was just making it comprehensible for people, myself included, by taking it slow. And that's the thing about the McLuhan work, is it's more like poetry than prose, and you really won't get too far if you try and approach it like conventional literature, because it requires more if you want to get more out of it. It requires more of you. And as Marshall liked to quote from T.S. Eliot, it's kind of the juicy piece of meat that keeps the watchdogs of the mind busy, while the forms can do their work. And this is why I spread that course over three-hour classes weekly for an extended period of time, was to really go immersive into the world of print. So there's all that, and what else? I mean, COVID times, it was weird. I did manage to make one trip in the last year, and in a brief lull, and that was to San Francisco, and that was really cool. with the helps from some friends. I tracked down where Howard Gossage had his infamous pump house, which launched McLuhan into the public imagination and made him a household name. That was really neat. Met up with some friends and students, which was great. It was an excellent experience. Met some interesting people and came home safe and sound, which was nice. So not much traveling, but I did do some guest appearances virtually to people's classrooms and gave some lectures. And if you're interested, recordings of some of those things are on the McLuhan Institute YouTube page. I kept the McLuhan Institute Twitter and Instagram fairly active with interesting tidbits from readings, little bits and pieces around the shop. I discovered about a dozen or so recordings of Monday night seminars, reel-to-reel tapes. I knew I had the tapes, but I discovered or recalled that 10 years ago in 2011, I got a friend of mine, a recording engineer, John, to digitize them. He had a reel-to-reel tape player and a whole recording suite, and he digitized a dozen or so Monday night seminars for me. I found these in the last few weeks, and I realized that the dates, the first one is dated January 22nd, and they run through a series of weeks, and the last one is early in April. And it's almost 50 years, 49 years to the day. So I thought I would release them on the date they were recorded. That is January 22nd will be the first one, and I'm going to start doing that in a few short weeks. So stay tuned for that. They'll be released over, I think, YouTube. I might do a watch party thing, and we can have a little discussion afterward or something. And as I said, that'll run through not every week, but many of them leading up into April, after which I'm working on designing a new series of Monday night seminars, kind of appropriate. These recordings will lead into that. It's not going to be every Monday. I'm thinking monthly to be able to do it right, but I'm very much looking forward to doing that, and it's going to be similar to what Marshall did, very wide-ranging, interdisciplinary. One thing I want to do a little differently is broaden the discussion. I want to allow for a larger variety of voices to weigh in on these topics. Culture and technology, which are obviously still quite relevant. So that's upcoming. What else? I mean, just general. I think I already said that I'm coming up with a 2-year plan to kind of get things sorted here and make TMI the kind of place I think it can be and I think it needs to be. I want to thank the people who've supported my work here on Patreon. I think it's patreon.com/McLuhan. There are 44 of you, and I'm very grateful. You know, it doesn't add up to a whole lot, but it helps, and I appreciate it, so thank you. Some other opportunities have come my way recently, and I think they're going to make it a lot easier for me to spend more time out here in the office. So I'm really grateful for that, for opportunities like that, to dive into McLuhan work and apply it. It's kind of exactly what I want to do, which is focus on the practical side of McLuhan, what we can use from the tools Marshall and Eric McLuhan developed back in the day, and bring them forward to today and help us try and design a better tomorrow, which I think we can do, and gosh, we'd better be able to do, or we're gonna have some problems. On that note, this is the last time we'll be able to check in on live before the end of the year. This year will December 31st is the anniversary of Marshall's death. 1980 to 2022 is 42 years. So that's quite a bit. I always remember Marshall on that day. Thank you for being here, for supporting the McLuhan Institute. I appreciate you all. I want to wish you the best for the coming year. I'm really excited about what's going to happen around here. You can always reach me, Andrew at themcluhaninstitute.com. If, and I think I will, do the Understanding Media class again, and you're interested, keep an eye on grayarea.org or the McLuhan Institute on Twitter or the McLuhaninstitute.com, because I'll make announcements there, and eventually I'll get a newsletter thing, and you can just sign up for that. But thank you so much. Have a great new year, and much love. Take care of yourself. We'll see you again.